Our chronological Bible reading for March 12th is Deuteronomy chapters 3 and 4. Moses is continuing to recount to the Israelites where they've been over the last 40 years, and he tells the story of how King Og of Bashan came out against them, and they defeated him because God was with them. This King Og is a peculiar figure in the Old Testament, and he's mentioned several times. He was an Amorite king, and it says in verse 11 that he was the last of the remnant of the Rephaim. The Rephaim are first mentioned all the way back in Genesis when Abraham goes out to rescue Lot, and he defeats the Rephaim king as well as the others. A lot of people today are connecting the Rephaim to the Nephilim in Genesis 6, verses 1 through 4, when it says that the sons of God looked upon the daughters of men, went unto them, and the Nephilim were in the world in those days and afterward. Judging by the size of King Og's bed, which we are told was perhaps 14.5 feet long, it could be said that that's only mentioned to show how opulent and rich he was, but it's likely and often argued that it's because he himself was a very large individual, maybe 12 or 13 feet tall. A lot of controversy and conversations are taking place right now among people who are studying the Bible, trying to get to the root of who these Nephilim are. The reason for that is we are in the very last of the last days. And Jesus said, as it was in the days of Noah, so it shall be when he returns. He may have been saying that life will be carrying on in the same way as people were getting married and living their daily lives. But he might have also been alluding to the fact that the Nephilim were in the land and everybody knew it. Were these Nephilim descendants of angels? And that's a big conversation that's taking place, and I honestly don't know what to believe. In Genesis 6, when it talks about the sons of God, is it referring to angels having left their heavenly place and somehow became human or took on physical flesh and then had babies with the daughters of men? If that's the case, then why did Jesus seem to indicate that angels are asexual beings when he said that when we are in heaven, we will be like the angels, not getting married? We also have to think about the author of Hebrews asking the question, to which of the angels did God ever say, you are my son, today I have begotten you? He was making the point that Jesus was not an angel. But then we have these peculiar verses in 2 Peter chapter 2 and in Jude that talk about the angels who left their domain or where they were supposed to be, and now they are kept in chains in darkness awaiting judgment. A lot of the people today who are purporting the theory of the Nephilim being these monstrous humanoid giant creatures look to the book of Enoch, which is not in most of our Bibles, but seems to have been quoted from by Jude, Jesus' brother, in the book of Jude. Where do you come down on all of this? Were the sons of God angels? Were the sons of God believers? Were they humans who believed in God? As usually in Scripture, when you think about the children of God, it's talking about people. I would love to hear your thoughts, because I just don't know where to come down on this. One thing is for certain, though, Og seems to have been a terrifying individual, leading a terrifying group of people. And the Israelites, in defeating him and the people he led, should have been built up in the faith, because God had delivered into their hand a fearsome people indeed. By recounting this story, Moses is saying, look and remember what God has done. You might have scary days ahead of you, but never forget the things that God has already done for you, in you, and through you. He's taken you this far. He will continue that good work he began in you. Moses then tells the people, because of this, make sure that you believe him. Make sure that you do what he says to do. By your obedience, we will all know whether or not you trust in the living God who has brought you this far. Don't be afraid. Remember all of the things that He's done already. He didn't bring you this far just to let you fail now. Continue to trust in Him. And the way we know if we are trusting in God is if we are obeying Him. Are we today obeying Him? Are we doing the things that God is telling us to do in Scripture? Or are we succumbing to temptation to use the world's wisdom? When God speaks about marriage, He says it's the union between one man and one woman. Are we believing that? Are we committing ourselves to monogamous relationships? Are we loving our wives as Christ loves the church? Wives, are you respecting your husbands because the Scripture says to? Or do we do as the world does and say, I will love that person when they are worthy of my love. I will respect that person when they are worthy of my respect or when they earn it. In all things, we are to obey God. In everything we have, we are to view this world the way He does and let the Scriptures dictate for us the path that we are to take moving forward. God bless you, my friends. May He give you grace as you continue these things. May He give you revelation, and may the foundation of your faith be resting upon Him, His Word, His truth. Please let me know what you think about the Nephilim or any of these other thoughts, and we'll see you tomorrow. God bless.